Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ulrike. I'm a K-beauty and skincare content creator and just general skincare enthusiast. And for today's video, I decided to do a little review of a new sunscreen product from a very popular brand. I have a feeling it will become potentially the next big thing in sunscreens. We'll see. But in any case, it is something a little bit different, a little bit special, and something we haven't seen yet. Or have we? But more on that later. So today I will be talking about this product, which is the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng Moist Sun Serum. So, Beauty of Joseon, of course, a K-beauty brand that became hyper viral thanks to its sunscreen, its Rice Plus Probiotics sunscreen that every TikToker and their mother, every influencer under the sun, literally under the sun, has used to protect themselves from said sun. It is a very good sunscreen, and I did review it very favorably on my blog. I still like to use it. But in general, Beauty of Joseon is, for me, it's a brand that is hit and miss. I have some products from them that I really, really like. I love their ginseng essence. I think that's a really nice product. Sort of an entryway into Hanbang skincare, certainly not the same quality as something like Sulhwasu, but then it only costs a fraction of what Sulhwasu costs. And for that, considering that it's usually under $20, I think it's a really, really good ginseng product. I also absolutely love their ginseng eye cream. That is a fantastic product and so affordable as well. It's wonderful. But I think some of the products are also overhyped. I think their serums aren't that great. In fact, I think they're really just watered down. And even for the low price point, I just think, I don't know, there's better stuff out there. And I don't quite understand why those are always being pushed by influencers when there's such better stuff out there. And in general, I just feel that Beauty of Joseon is a little bit overrepresented when it comes to K-beauty in the West. And I just wish that other brands wouldn't always be overlooked, that I think are just as interesting, if not more interesting. Dr. G, for instance, no one talks about Dr. G ever. And it's just, yeah, sometimes I just feel a little bit exasperated that certain brands such as Beauty of Joseon Glow Recipe, which isn't even really K-beauty, it's an American brand basically made in Korea, that these types of brands are just so ubiquitous and so dominant. But anyway, coming back to the new sunscreen product from Beauty of Joseon, the Sun Serum, this really is something quite interesting. A sunscreen in serum form certainly is quite new. However, I do have to say, and this was kind of important for me to say, sorry, again, people will complain that this is too long, but guys, this is all on topic. I'm not being off topic. This is very important information about the sun serum. Beauty of Joseon is kind of, I feel, selling it as if it's something completely new. Something completely unique that they kind of invented, I feel. This is kind of the message here. However, there is a precursor to this particular product. This actually has been done before by yet another brand that is very popular in Korea, but somehow outside of Korea, no one knows about them. And that is AHC. AHC does a lot of sort of anti-aging stuff. They do more products, I would say, for people 30, 40, 50 and upwards. And they developed a sun serum that came out, I want to say, 3 years ago. I feel it was in the COVID year, maybe even before that. So it's been around for a while. And it seems that basically this new sun serum from Beauty of Joseon has the same base formula. It is made by the same manufacturer, which is Cosmax, And it seems that just looking at the filters and just the overall ingredients list, it is very similar to the HC serum, which isn't a problem. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here and say that POJ is covering something up, but I do feel the marketing maybe is a little bit disingenuous in that, again, it seems to imply that it's like a proprietary formula, because they talked a lot about how they tried to do it without essential oils and they just couldn't make it work. But in reality, it's probably because they just bought the formula the AHC uses as well, and they just, it would have maybe cost more to develop one without essential. I don't know. It's just, there's something about the marketing around this that I find a little bit strange, because again, it's not fully new. This has been done before, but most people in the West will not know this because they don't know about the AHC serum, sun serum. If you're interested in the AHC sun serum and also in potential comparisons, make sure to check out Bonnie Garner on Instagram, and also she has a blog. I'll make sure to link it somewhere. She's an excellent K-beauty blogger and influencer, and she does a lot of sunscreen reviews, and she has reviewed the HC sun serum, so you can see what the texture is like, etc. So I'll make sure to link that in the description box. Now, having gotten my little critical background information out of the way, again, I already know you're all going to complain, it's too long. I'm so stressed about the too long thing, because I really try to make everything be on topic. So I don't know. I just like long form videos, I guess. To just sum that up, in case you skipped it, basically this sun serum formula is not new as such. This has been done before. However, I do also have to say it is basically the second sun serum that ever existed. So it's still relatively new. And the formula from the Beauty of Joseon serum is a little bit different from the HC. The HC one has like a whole list of ingredients. The BOJ one is a lot more minimalist and more stripped down. But what is so interesting about this formula, and I'll make sure to show you a couple of texture shots so that you can see it, is that it truly is a sunscreen in serum form. This is not a cream, not even a lotion. This is a very watery, sort of melt into your skin, transparent formula that really just has this sort of dewy, glowy finish and really doesn't have any white cast, not even the ghost of a white cast. It just truly, fully disappears into skin. And for that alone, it is certainly a very interesting sunscreen product, because a lot of people, especially with darker skin tones, really struggle to find especially a Korean-made sunscreen that doesn't have any sort of hybrid or mineral filter in it, or that just kind of leaves a bit of a gray sort of tone on the skin when you're more dark-skinned, because Koreans do prefer that sort of quote-unquote tone-up finish. That is, of course, the worst thing to have when you're darker skinned, because yeah, it will just make you look like a gray ghost, basically. So this one, fully 100% chemical sunscreen and fully 100% white cast free. I can pretty much guarantee that, and I'm always very careful to guarantee anything, but this, it just disappears into skin. The texture of this is kind of like a light yellow fluid. It has a bit of a yellow tone to it, which you won't see once you apply it to the skin. And it has these little, almost like little beads in it. It's very hard to describe. Again, I'll show you somewhere in this video, I will show you a close-up shot. So it has a bit of an almost grainy texture, but again, that completely disappears when you apply it to the skin, because then it just kind of melts, and then it also becomes transparent. As for the first sort of con of this product, this does contain fragrance. I already said this earlier. It contains essential oils, and so it will not work for someone with a fragrance sensitivity or allergy. It also contains a little bit of alcohol, ethanol, so it might also not work for you if you're triggered buy that or have problems with really extreme dryness. As for key ingredients, this contains glycerin for hydration. It's a regular, really solid humectant. And then, of course, their proprietary key ingredient, the ginseng extract, which is antioxidant and supposedly good for skin firming and sort of revitalizing the skin. And this also contains niacinamide, which is good for brightening, skin barrier health, and also for pore care. Beauty of Joseon in general, I think, is more of a brand for younger skin. It works usually very well for people with oilier skin types, I think more so than dry-skinned people, although the regular sun cream from them, I think, also works for dry skin. The sun serum certainly mostly, I would say, is good for oilier to combo to regular skin people, because it can be a little bit drying, I want to say. The way that it dries down, it sometimes feels a little bit like tight. As for the sunscreen filters, as always, I've written them down because I will not remember them otherwise. This uses 5 UV filters: Uvinol A+, which is a UVA filter; Tinosorb S, which is a broad spectrum filter; Uvinol T150, which is a UVB filter; Polysilicone 15, which is a UVB and a UVB filter and a UVA filter stabilizer; and amixolate. I write it down somewhere as well. Amixolate, which is UVB and UVA2 filter. So 5 filters, really good sun protection. Although when it comes to the sun protection, I have something to say as well, but maybe we'll do that later. This has an SPF of 50 plus and a PA value of plus, so for quadruple plus, so it has high sun protection. I've made a little pro and con list. Maybe we'll start with the pros, the things that I did really like about this. And as I've already hinted, I really do think the texture is quite unique and interesting, and also really pleasant to work with because it just instantly sinks into skin. It has a true serum texture. It really doesn't feel like a cream or fluid or lotion at all, and thus it is very light and very refreshing. And it really doesn't leave any white cast. So I feel for someone with darker skin, this could be a really great product. And it is very difficult, I think, for darker skinned people to find good products from Korea in the sunscreen section. You can use this. I'm certain you can use this even when you have very dark skin, and it should work really well. What I also like is that it is a little bit glow enhancing. It gives a really nice sort of chewiness, but it doesn't feel too sticky or slimy or any of that. So that's really nice. Texture-wise, this is truly fabulous. The fact that it is near transparent and so sort of melty and so lightweight also means that it is really great for reapplication. In fact, I would say this is ideal for reapplication. You can use this over makeup, no problem. It won't disturb your makeup because, again, it just kind of instantly melts. And when you rub it into skin, as long as you don't like fiercely rub, of course, it should absolutely work on top of makeup, and it should work when you reapply it throughout the day. And it won't be as annoying as it sometimes can be with those heavier, thicker cream textures from other sunscreens. So for reapplication, I really like this. I also think it is a good sunscreen for anyone with oilier skin, again, because of the lightness of the texture. I'm not sure it is great for dry skin because I just feel it is a teeny bit drying overall. Which brings me to the more negative side, or the cons of this product. I did feel, in all truth, that it is a little bit, I felt it burned my skin a little bit. I don't want to over dramatize this. It wasn't like terrible, and it didn't feel like my skin got on fire or it super inflamed my skin. But whenever I apply this, and I've used it a couple of times now to make sure I can do the review, I always kind of have this lingering sense of unpleasantness, and I would say it's mostly like a burning. I also definitely have to be careful with this, that it doesn't get too close to my eyes, because it just seems to crawl into the eyes a little bit. I'm guessing because it spreads out so well that the oils from it, or doesn't actually have any oils, whatever is causing the burning kind of gets into the eyes. So this does not work very well around the eyes, for me at least. And I have to add, I usually don't have problems with burning around the eyes from sunscreen. I think this is the first sunscreen where I had this. So that to me kind of makes it certainly not my favorite. The other thing that I really want to talk about is that I am kind of a little bit doubtful, after having used this a couple of times, whether the serum texture of this, I think, is a good thing, but also kind of a bad thing, because I'm doubtful if it will always be possible to use the amount needed to achieve full coverage. This just spreads so well that it's nearly impossible to use a large amount. And in order to have full coverage for your face, you need a certain amount. I don't remember how much, but it's like a quarter teaspoon or half a teaspoon. I don't remember, but usually I try to make sure that I use a good amount to really know that all the nooks and crannies of my face and my neck are covered. And I always notice when I use this that I just find it very, very hard to really achieve that large amount, because it spreads so well, and because it's so pleasant, because it's more like a serum. You kind of just use the tiny teeny bit you would if you were to use a serum, and then you kind of have to apply more, but you kind of feel that your face is already sort of saturated with the product, so it just gets a little bit awkward. So I feel that this maybe is really better for reapplication, and I just don't think it is a great sunscreen as sort of the main everyday, I use this in the morning sort of sunscreen, sort of the base sunscreen that you use in order to have just base coverage before you leave the house. For that, I would say that their regular cream sunscreen is miles better. Or any one of the many Kolma Korea sunscreens floating around, the Round Lab, the Isn't Tree one that is really popular. They're all kind of the same anyway at this point in time. Or the B-Plane one that I just reviewed and really, really like. I feel with those, I just have a safer feeling when I use them in the morning, where I feel, yes, I am covered. Yes, I have SPF 50 plus. With this, it just gets a little bit awkward in the morning when you apply it. So for me, this one works much better as a reapplication type sunscreen that you kind of put in your bag, and you can use it throughout the day to sort of touch up on your sunscreen, especially if, like me, you don't really like sun sticks, which are currently touted as all the rage. I personally don't do well with those. I find them a bit awkward to work with. So I think this is a good alternative for that. What I also don't like much about this product is the smell. It just kind of smells, it kind of smells like cheap drugstore sunscreens. Kind of reminds me of that, at least German ones. like sort of the Nivea ones in Germany, like in the 1990s, sort of a bit of a cloying scent that doesn't seem pleasant. It does go away once you apply it, so at least it doesn't linger. But yeah, every time I use it, I kind of go, ooh, oh, I don't know about that. And I do wish that this was fragrance-free and alcohol-free, because that is kind of the BOJ selling point, that all of their products are really sensitive skin friendly. This one is not. As I said, it actually burned me a little bit, and I'm not super sensitive, so I can only imagine what would happen if someone with more sensitive skin would try to use that. I really would advise to be a bit careful with this product. Again, it doesn't necessarily keep me away from using it. It's not that extreme, but it is noticeable. And I do think it could potentially come maybe from the alcohol content. I'm not sure. Usually I'm okay with a little bit of alcohol, but something in this formula seems to slightly aggravate my skin. And so again, because I'm usually not super sensitive, I'm thinking it is not a sensitive skin friendly sunscreen, which for this particular brand is just a strange choice to me, because they're all about fragrance-free, alcohol-free, sensitive skin friendly. I don't know. I really am in two minds about this sunscreen overall. So yeah, final verdict. I think it's just a mixed a mixed review of this, which, by the way, I didn't show you the packaging. I realized it is this pump bottle. So yeah, it comes with a pump. It's very hygienic. But yeah, overall, I don't think this is my favorite product ever. I really was ready to give it a shot. I ordered it pretty much the moment it was available on Olive Young, because I do think the concept is very interesting. Again, it's maybe not new, because there was another product like this out there. But it is certainly something a little bit different that can, I think, work for certain skin types. And I really am very happy that it is white cast free. And I think it could be a good sunscreen choice, especially for reapplication for people with oilier skin, potentially for people with darker skin, and people who just want a bit of a dewy, glowy, but not too sticky type of sunscreen. I would still say it's mostly for reapplication. I just don't think it's a good product to make sure that you have your SPF 50 coverage. I also would absolutely not advise you to use this if you're out in the sun for a long time. This is not about a conspiracy theory. This definitely has SPF 50 plus. I'm just saying it would be very difficult to keep applying enough of it to have really strong coverage if you're out in the sun for a long time. So yeah, I would say this is more like a second additional sunscreen. And in general, I would say if you are happy with the Beauty of Joseon Sun Cream, the Rice Plus Probiotics one, or again, any of the other Kolmar Korea formulas that are exactly like this one, with a couple of ingredients shuffled around, stick to that. If this gets hyped up, I'm not sure yet, but I'm just assuming a lot of influencers will talk about this like it's the new second coming, the next best thing. I would say don't get caught up in the hype. I don't think it is amazing. I think it has its benefits, but I also think there are certain weaknesses in the formula that didn't fully convince me. And that was it. My review of the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng Moist Sun Serum. And I hope that it provided enough background information for you to decide whether or not you want to give this a shot. Again, who knows, maybe it won't become a new viral sensation, but maybe it will. And then I just felt it would be good to have a truly honest opinion out there for this, because I feel it's the sort of product that could, I think the gimmick of the serum texture could maybe overshadow the maybe not so great things. And I just don't want people to buy something without knowing the full story, right? So that was the full story. And I really hope you found this information and this review helpful. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps so much. And maybe also leave it a thumbs up and a comment if you have tried the serum already, or maybe the HC one. Then I'd be really interested in hearing your opinions, especially if you actually really like it, because I always feel just because I maybe didn't fully buy into the hype doesn't mean others didn't absolutely adore it. And it's always good to hear sort of both sides of the argument. Again, I didn't fully dislike it. I just don't fully love it. So please leave your comments and yeah, stick around. I'd be so happy to see you again next week for a new video, because I do one every week, usually on Thursdays. And until then, please take care. Bye.